Hello, I'm Daniel, and in the spirit of handsomely rugged men with whiskey smooth voices conducting interviews, I'm here today with Dr. Alyson Bass. We're going to ask her a few important questions and get her take on what's going on, like who she is, what she does, and why that matters. So let's start with, who are you?
I'm Alyson Smith Bass. The Smith is very important to me. I was born with that name. And there is a Smith behind the camera that you cannot see here, my brother, Wells Smith. And that guy happens to be my son. That's why I am allowing this behavior that you're seeing here. I have been an educator for 48 years, a professional educator, 48 years. I'm retired now. I taught kindergarten, first grade for 25 years, a couple years in Louisiana and those other years in Texas. And then after that, I went around the country. It sounded like I was on the lam for something, but went around the country in different universities, and I've taught pre-service and in-service teachers about literacy. Most of those teachers were elementary teachers, but there are quite a few secondary teachers in there as well. Secondary teachers who are learning comprehension and vocabulary strategies. My very favorite is emergent literacy. Some of my favorite memories are of children who began to read and realized when they were reading. I have seen Chad and Kevin and Darren shiver when they realized they could read. And they would look at me and say, "How did you do that?" Most fun, absolutely terrific fun. Part of learning to read, I believe, is in what children read, what they learn to read. So part of that is, of course, children's literature, quality children's literature. What I plan to do is read some of the stories that I've read to children and some of the stories that I have read to adults in the classes that I've had on this channel, so that you can experience the fun of that as well. What else would you like to know?
Well, that was obviously a long-winded answer. You think quite a lot of yourself. So I guess what comes
We'll
next
speak with
is,
him later.
yeah, that'll be fun. The final thing, I guess, is, of course, a lot of training, education, a lot of experience, a lot of passion for that. Why is it important for us to, create this kind of content where you're reading books?
Reading aloud to children is extremely important. Reading aloud to anyone. I can remember when you were in 5th grade, maybe 4th grade, with a teacher, Jean Preston, who read aloud to your class, and then your sister's class that came up later, and enthused kids about reading like I've never seen before. So it's across the board, reading aloud. And so we can just read aloud a book, but there's certain ways that you can read them, certain elements in a book to point out. There are even certain strategies that you can use that are vocabulary and comprehension strategies just in the talk that you have that cause the readers to understand to inculcate those strategies before they understand what they are really. Those strategies are ingrained in them as they are reading so that they become better readers. Can children learn to read with dull books? Absolutely. I can read with the best of them, and I learned on a pretty dull set of books. Nevertheless, I learned to read. But I have found when children learn to read in quality literature that they develop a love of reading that may or may not be found in dull books. And of course, this all depends too on what the parents are doing at home with their kids and reading aloud to them. And besides, it is fun and lovely to do.
Great answer. One final question before we conclude. So in 40 plus years of education in the classroom and whatnot, is that
48.
correct?
Yeah,
48
48.
years. Right.
48.
You, and let me just want to be perfectly clear, you've never once open hand slapped a student?
Let's see, I was teaching you a bit.
Yeah, well, yeah. I didn't mean for this to be a gotcha video, but yeah. No backhand slam? Nothing?
No.
Shocking if true.
And trying,
Mm-hmm.
okay, now we're going to have a philosophy.
Right.
My whole teaching career, don't embarrass a student.
Right.
Including in my adult classes, someone who is acting up, and my adult students will know this. I will address those people through an exit card. That means sending them a little note at the end of class.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't embarrass kids. I hope. If I've embarrassed anybody out there, you let me know.
Yeah.
Tell him.
Tell me. Mention it in the comments. Hey, please hit the like button on our channel. It does help with the YouTube algorithm. Thanks for joining us, and look forward to creating more content for you.